Hey everyone, welcome to Keto Cooking with the Joneses. I'm Tyler. I'm actually the only one awake this morning. It's about 6 o'clock, and I just wanted to kind of go over some stuff about like intermittent fasting. I've done 2 so far. Well, not necessarily intermittent fasting. I want to go over intermittent fasting versus full-in fasting. My wife is intermittent fasting. She's got about an 8-hour window to eat. She only eats or has her morning coffee at around 10 a.m. and she won't eat past 6 p.m. and she'll fast in between time. Me, on the other hand, I have tried a little bit of intermittent fasting, but for the most part, I've been doing some tests with some full-on fasting where I had a dinner. We had some family come from out of town, and we'd actually cheated a little bit and kind of overdid it. So I decided, well, if I'm going to do this, then I'm going to go ahead and fast. And I was able to do 47 hours. And the only reason it was 47 hours is because my wife wanted me to be on her intermittent fasting schedule. That was pretty easy, to be honest. I mean, even after kind of a cheat meal, I figured that I would feel hunger. I had set kind of a baseline rule for myself, saying if I got to a point where I was hungry, starving, not just a few stomach cramps that water didn't take care of, lightheaded, that I was going to eat, because I don't want to damage my body, and I'm not trying to starve myself. I just want to see how far my body can go while I'm in ketosis. But yeah, 47 hours was absolutely amazing, pretty easy. This last time I decided to go ahead and try and go a little bit longer, and this time I did 72 hours, and it was the same thing. It was super simple. My body's in ketosis, and it was using its own fat for fuel the entire time, so I just never once felt hungry. I never once even had an issue with weakness or lightheadedness or anything. I mean, it's probably not something for everyone, but it definitely worked for me. Now, the first time when I did this in 47 hours, I actually lost 7 pounds. Now, granted, I hadn't really had anything but water, and it seems like I've kind of noticed that if you're fasting for an extended period of time, especially more than 24 hours, and you have water with your meal especially, beforehand it doesn't seem like you'll retain any water, but afterwards it seems like you retain all water. So it seems like you gain weight right back in like masses. I mean, I had lost 7 pounds, but I gained back 3. It seemed like overnight, but within the next 2 days those 3 pounds disappeared because I was eating. This time, this 72-hour fast, I actually did quite well. I lost around 10 pounds. Since I weighed myself this morning, granted, I had a very large dinner last night, and I may have overdone it yet again. We actually did keto crunchy tacos using the cheese as a shell. But we kind of overdid it, and especially with doing 72 hours without eating, my stomach was probably not stretched out very far, and I probably stuffed way too much in, which a lot of people do have this issue if you're doing massive fasting, because you're basically fasting and then you're going to gorge like crazy, and I need to have the better willpower to stick within my limitations. But anyway, I had lost 10 pounds, but according to this morning, granted, I haven't used the bathroom, I haven't taken a shower or anything yet this morning. As you can see, I'm pretty scruffy looking. But it said that I gained back like 4 pounds out of my 10, which it's quite a bit, but I know by tomorrow I should be good to go again and drop those 4 pounds. You said, it just seems like every time that I fast, even intermittent fasting, that my body kind of retains water after I eat, because I can weigh myself and then I'll gain poundage. And I don't think I'm gaining poundage because of food or building fat, I literally think my body's retaining water. I mean, water is 8.3 pounds per gallon. So, and I drink probably 1.5 gallons to 2 gallons a day. So, I mean, if I go drink half a gallon of water, I mean, there's 4 pounds right there pretty easily. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of cover some intermittent fasting and other fasting. We'll probably name this video Intermittent Fasting 1. I want to do an update. I may do a longer fast, but I'm not sure yet. I really don't want to damage my body. I want to do some research and see if there's issues with going extended periods of time with any type of fasting. I really don't want to hurt myself or lose any type of muscle mass. But yeah, I'll do an update video here within hopefully the next couple weeks, and we should be doing a couple cooking videos for you here during this week at some point. Yeah. If you enjoy our videos, I know this one's probably a little boring, being what it is, but if you enjoy our videos, please click the follow button, hit that little bell so you can get notifications, and please leave your comments. I'd really like to get your feedback and kind of know what you think about our videos, if there's anything we could change, anything. I mean, if you like it, great. If you don't, I'd still want to know, just so that we know what to change. We are new at this. We've never really done this before. Not super comfortable in front of the camera yet, but we're getting there. I mean, we're definitely not rolling off like a script or nothing. Most of the stuff we say is coming off the top of our head, other than the actual knowledge when it comes to food and the diet itself. So yeah, hit us up in the comments, hit follow, hit that little bell to get notifications. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. One thing I forgot to mention that I feel is fairly important would be the fact that during my fast, I had nothing at all besides a coffee in the morning and water all day long. And it's not bulletproof coffee. It's just plain black coffee. I probably actually overdo it on that every morning also. A lot of people say that you should only have kind of a small cup of coffee because caffeine can also have its effect on your ketosis. But it doesn't seem like it has any ill effects on me. I'm losing weight just fine. Another thing that I forgot to mention was the fact that it's not like I was just sitting around doing nothing and relaxing. I have been doing yard work. I've been moving logs around in my yard. We've been doing lots of cleaning. I even went and helped my neighbor yesterday dig a big hole at the end of my fast, and not once did I feel weak, tired, lightheaded. I mean, I was working real hard. We were trying to get some rebar that was like 4 feet down in this ground that we just couldn't seem to get out. So we were digging like crazy and trying to yank that thing out, and I felt fine the entire time. Honestly, I felt like I could have went days more with my fast, even though I went ahead and ate. It's super comfortable. It's super comfortable knowing that when you're in ketosis, especially, that when you fast, that your body is literally doing what it's designed to do. I mean, naturally, we wouldn't be we wouldn't be eating necessarily every day, because food wouldn't always be available back in like ancient times. You may have to walk 3 or 4 days before you found anything that you could even justifiably eat. Whether you're foraging or hunting or whatever, you might go days and days or even a week or two without any food whatsoever, while having to work hard to try to get food. And I'm kind of going off of that theory myself, because I want to push myself. I want to work hard. I want to sweat my butt off and do things in the yard and do other things that are going to push my body limits, especially while I'm in ketosis and doing my fast, just to see if I do get that lightheaded feeling, to see if I really need the sustenance like right now, or if my body's okay with just burning my fat for fuel. Anyway, that's about it. I said, I forgot to kind of add that part in. I felt it was pretty important. I mean, I drink, like you said, a cup or two of coffee in the morning, and the rest of the day I do nothing but drink water, and that's my fast. And so far, I know I can go 72 hours. I mean, that's 3 full days. I hadn't had any food since Sunday at 5 o'clock, and I didn't eat again until Wednesday at 5 o'clock. So, I mean, that's a pretty decent amount of time. I know with carbohydrates, if I'm eating carbs and I'm on a schedule of eating basically crappy food, that my body's hungry after hours. I mean, if I have a high carb breakfast, even having some potato and stuff with my eggs and whatever, I mean, I'm starving by dinner time. And with ketosis, doesn't matter what I have, whether I had some starchy stuff while I've been in ketosis, or if I've been eating clean like I'm supposed to, and just having my high fat and a little bit of protein and tiny bit of carbs, I can go a long time. Granted, I know that after starving yourself, or not starving yourself, but fasting for 24 to 48 hours, your body will automatically hit ketosis, even if you've been on a binge and eating crappy food and all these carbohydrates. But for the most part, I know that I'm already in ketosis, and so my body's literally just using my fat for fuel, and that tells your stomach that you're just not hungry. Your mind might say, hey, you should probably eat, you haven't eaten today, but that's more along the lines of your mind is just telling you, hey, you're kind of on a schedule and you should have eaten. But if your stomach's not hungry, why eat? It just doesn't make any sense to me. So yeah, I'm trying to go off like a prehistoric type diet. Essentially, I'm going off, I mean, it's a ketogenic diet. That's kind of what our ancestors did anyways. But with the fasting, I really want to see how far I can push myself, and possibly give you guys recommendations on how far you could push yourself. If you don't feel comfortable with it, by all means, please don't do it. If you feel hungry or lightheaded, go ahead and stop your fast. If you're stressed out, go ahead and stop your fast, because stress on the body is going to have a huge effect. I mean, everything can have a huge effect. Even hard work. I mean, if you're putting in crazy hard work and your body cannot handle not eating and you need those calories, by all means, go ahead and eat. I just want to see how far I can push myself without actually starving or that lightheaded feeling. And it seems like I can go pretty far. I think the next time I do this is going to be about a week. But like I said before, I want to do my research and see if there's going to be any ill effects, because I don't want to do any damage whatsoever to my body. I don't want to lose any muscle mass. I don't want to feel weak and get sick. I just want to stay happy and healthy. And if I can go a week without food, I want you guys to know that there's definitely a possibility. I'm also going to be doing some tests down the road with fasting and even some other foods. I mean, I kind of have a feeling, even though it's a ketogenic diet, that like certain whole foods you should be able to kind of have them, but they say that they're bad on keto necessarily because of the high sugars and things like that. Like, I mean, if I could pick a fruit or pick a nut of any kind type thing, I want to test those and see, while I'm in ketosis, if they're going to kick me out of ketosis and how long. So I mean, if I'm able to have, say, an apple, because it's natural and I can go pick an apple off of a tree and go ahead and eat one apple, because I mean, in prehistoric times, that may be what I come across is an apple tree, and you might eat 3 or 4 apples, but you didn't have anything else for days and days. So I want to test that and see if I have an apple, say, at night, if I'll be back in ketosis in the morning, or an orange, or any type of any natural food that I could pick. I don't want to have anything that you necessarily have to cook. I don't think that you should be eating anything that you should be required to cook. I mean, even when it comes to meat, I mean, most meat you can actually eat raw if you really wanted to, but they've proved over time that our brain function came off of us actually starting to cook meat. But I mean, when it comes to whole foods, I just have I don't know, I have a theory that I want to test. And I think that when it comes to those whole foods, that I should be able to have an apple or an orange or a grapefruit or whatever kind of fruit may come off of a tree, or a nut that comes off of a tree, even though necessarily scientifically they broke it down and it shows so many carbs. You know, some of those might be really high, like almonds are really high in carbohydrates, because there's a ton of sugar in them. But if I were to go buy a bunch of almonds that were still in the shell and crack them myself, I mean, how many am I really going to eat versus grabbing handfuls of nuts at a time? I think that would be the same way and the safest way to do it as you would prehistorically. If you came across the nut tree, you might go grab a giant bag of them to, you know, have something to eat over days and weeks, but you're not going to sit there and crack nuts for 4 or 5 hours to have, you know, 3 handfuls, because it's just not a justifiable time unless you're just absolutely starving. So yeah, I just want to do that test, get some information out there to you guys so you can kind of know and you can decide if you want to test it or not. If I do have ill effects, I will also show that, just so you also have that information. We want to show you as much information as humanly possible so that you can do this right, do weight loss right, and just even get fit necessarily. So yeah, you guys have a good day.